Everyone, it's Brendan again, and we are starting a new series here at Sons of Speed. This one is called Corvette Corner, and we really love Corvettes. And so every once in a while, we're going to get in the cockpit here, and we're going to talk about what's new in Corvette world. And today, we're going to talk about 10 different things that Chevy didn't necessarily get right on the C7 that they have the chance to fix for the C8. So these are going to be those top 10 things. Number one, this car scrapes the front end on any kind of incline, or you got to take it on a severe angle to avoid it. And it's mostly the air dams that scrape, but still it's not a great sound, and I have scraped the front spoiler from time to time. So what the C8 really needs, especially given that it looks like it's going to have kind of a low front end, is a power front end lift. So just like you see in some Lamborghinis and some of the higher end cars, they just need a front end lift so that it takes it off the ground a few inches. So you can get over speed bumps, you can get over some of the driveways and things like that. The second thing is there have been some class action lawsuits against C7 cars, involving C7 cars against Chevy. One of those is for wheels bending on this car, the Grand Sport, in the Z06. And then overheating with the Z06 and transmission issues with the A8. They just need to do a better job in some areas in getting things right from the get-go. So don't use soft and pliable wheels, and make sure that the vehicle that you're advertising for the racetrack can actually do what it's supposed to do on the racetrack without overheating. Just get those things right. There really isn't a reason we should have class action lawsuits. And if you know what, if you have a problem and you've done something that you thought was right, it just didn't work out, own up to it and fix it. Don't force people to go to a class action to get satisfaction for what should have been right in the first place. Number three is fix the trunk release button. The trunk release on this car is in such a location that you almost invariably hit it by accident with your left knee all the time. And it's actually not that the location is bad necessarily. It's that the way the button is set up, it instantly works. So as soon as you touch it, the button pops the trunk open. And so if you happen to graze it by accident, the trunk is going to open. And they could have fixed that with just a delay where you have to hold it for 1 second and then the trunk opens. That would have solved 99.9% of the problems. Or they could move it somewhere else, although I don't know where they'd put it because the cockpit's pretty jam-packed as it is. But they really needed to address that, or they needed to address that in the C8. Just put a delay on it. Put a 1 second hold the button and pop it open, because it's so irritating. And then going along with that is that if you accidentally pop it open, now that you've got the power cinch in the back, you should be able to hit a button to pull it back down automatically in case you do accidentally open it. That would be great.
All right, number four, we're doing inside because, frankly, I forgot to do this in the car. So number four is full customization of all of the drive modes, the HUD, the dashboard, which is going to be all electronic, I'm guessing, on this one. Because what the Vet really needs that it doesn't have in the C7 is a custom mode, because you've got weather, touring, sport, eco, and race. Not in that order, but all of those modes you have, but you don't have a way to set like a custom mode. So maybe you want like race steering, sport throttle response, touring suspension, but you want the sport on the HUD and maybe in the dash. You can kind of set it for all of them, but you can't do like a custom mode where you could really customize that. And that's really what they need to do on the C8.
The fifth thing that this vehicle needs is blind spot monitors. So I'm going to give you an idea of what it's like to drive this car and try to check your blind spot. So as you can see here, yeah. You can't really see in the blind spots. I mean, on this side, you know, you got the little window. You got to really use your mirrors. They're pretty good, you know, but they're really a blind spot monitor. I know they try to, every gram earns its way onto a Corvette, so they don't like adding things that add weight without really contributing to the car. So like we didn't get a power cinch in a Corvette C7 until 2016. Before that, you had to slam it and because it didn't always close. So it's kind of one of those things that this car needs safety wise, and I'm sure the C8 is not going to be any better. The visibility out the in the corners and your blind spots is not great. So a blind spot monitor would be a good idea. Number 6. So when you take your vet to a track day, and if you're like me and you like to have a second set of wheels with some slicks on them, getting them to the track is going to be impossible. And with a C8 with a front trunk, it's going to be even harder. They somehow just need to set the car up better to take a tow hitch with a small, like, pull a trailer with your wheels and tools. There are aftermarket options that came along for the C7, but it's really hard to put it on just because the center, exhaust pipes are there, so it's a bit difficult. They could do a better job of just anticipating that need and working the design around that in the back. Maybe even offer it as an option, a hidden tow hitch receiver back there. Number 7 is going to be automatic wipers. This is kind of one for me. I don't necessarily mind not having automatic wipers if I'm in a $30,000 Miata. If I'm in a $70,000 car and it doesn't have automatic wipers, even though it's a sports car, you kind of feel like it should just for the price. So that would be a function I would add. They've already got a lot of stuff going up in here with the, with the PDR and everything like that. And it wouldn't seem to be that much more difficulty or weight to add in the automatic wiper sensor. So number 8 is going to be, speaking of PDR, there's so much more they could do with the PDR. They did an awesome job with valet mode, with the PDR software, with the overlays, all of the GPS sensors, but it could be so much more than just what they're using it for now, and it would just make it awesome. So, for example, it could be a nighttime or parked car security camera system where it employs the rear camera, the front camera, and anytime it senses motion, it could record motion, it could record impact. So if someone's messing with your car, you get it on video. It can have a dash cam feature where it's constantly running, like, let's say, a 30-second or 2-minute loop that you can set where it's just recording over itself constantly. And if something happens, you didn't have to happen to have it running, you could hit a button real quick and it would go back and save those 30 seconds to 2 minutes or so that it's pre-recording. That would be awesome. So there's just things like that they could use. They could enhance the PDR so much more with. So Tesla's got like a Sentry system where it's recording all the way around the car using like the 360 cameras. I don't expect to see 360 cameras on a Corvette. I kind of don't want them, but front and rear cameras will probably be good enough. Then number 9 are these terrible cup holders. They're awful, trust me. This just always slides out and there you go. It's just, they don't really hold anything other than like the small water bottles, and a couple of water bottles. Spring Mountain gives you a water bottle that does kind of fit in there. Look, sometimes you make compromises when you build a car. And I'm sure this cup holder was one of them because the transmission tunnel is right here. They really can't get that deep. But in the C8, they really need to come up with a better cup holder design. Number 10 is something for us who go to the track, and that is there really is no reason not to put Castrol SRF brake fluid in this car. .4 brake fluid, but good stuff from the factory. Like, I shouldn't have to change and bleed my brakes just to go to the track. And then I just leave that fluid in all the time because it doesn't do any harm to the car. So why not just put that in from the get-go instead of having us do all of these track day modifications? It's something like that just saves time, money, and effort for the consumer. Just put in the better brake fluid from the factory. There's no reason not to do that. And a bonus number 11, because this is not something that's wrong with the current car, but it's something that's right with the current car that is rumored not to be coming on the C8. And that is the manual transmission. So this car has the 7-speed manual. It is a fantastic transmission, and it would be a huge mistake for Chevy to not have a manual transmission in the C8. I don't care how good your DCT is. You are literally removing it's like taking the heart out of a car. Driver involvement and engagement is going to be a totally different animal, and it's not going to be as good with just a DCT or an automatic. So the rumors that they have patented a clutch by wire system, and hopefully that was for the Corvette, I hope are true, and I hope there's going to be a manual coming, and I hope that's a big surprise, because the current rumors that there's going to be no manual, I wouldn't buy one. You know, I would probably buy one if it had a manual. I will definitely not buy one if it doesn't. So that is our list of things that the C7 doesn't do great that they could fix on the C8. Let us know what you think. Is there anything for the C8 that you want to see? Something different than what they're doing in the C7, something that could be fixed or improved in the C7. And let's get a wish list going, and we'll send it over to Chevy, and hopefully before that C8 comes out to the public, which is probably going to be sometime in January or early next year, maybe we can get some of the wish list in their hands and they can get it to us. So this has been Brendan for Sons of Speed. If you don't already subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, mash the notification bell, please hit the like button, share this video with people who are into Corvettes, see what they think about it, and I'll catch you next time on Corvette Corner.